What's up, guys? So this is the second video. Um, so as I said, I said I was going to do a second video in the previous video. Sort of different topic though, or different discussion really. So I don't know. I suppose I don't really mind putting this out on YouTube because um, it's not something that I'm ashamed of really, or feel guilty about, or sort of I don't really feel uncomfortable sharing it. So obviously people know from if you've watched some of my personal videos recently that I've not been in a very good place. And honestly, I've not been in a very good place for quite some time. Even though obviously in some of my gameplay videos I come off as completely fine in them. I'm sure as some of you will know, just because you're basically putting on you're trying to fake it really. You're not really portraying how you feel because obviously no one's gonna like. That's just who wants to watch a video. Who wants to watch like a game video when you're just like miserable and no energy? And people don't. People want someone that's sort of active and sort of got a bit of positivity and stuff. But yeah, I've been like this for, I would say honestly, quite a long time. Like longer than I think maybe I've been like this for. But really noticeably, it's probably been about 2 years or so, maybe. Um, which is weird because it's not like anything major happened 2 years ago or anything like that. Not really. So it's sort of maybe it's just been building up over a long period of time, and it sort of gets to a point. But anyway, I'm sort of not really talking about what I wanted to talk about. So on top of this, I mean, I suppose this is the only thing you can call it. On top of like my depression and anxiety and my obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD and stuff, which I've been really struggling with those things. But while I was like going to the doctors about that sort of thing, I didn't technically bring it up, but it was brought up about me getting tested for autism. Um, and the doctor actually did sort of set the what's the word? Do the actual get it like going, getting the process going. So obviously they ask you questions when you're first doing it at the doctors, and I answered them, and then like you get referred, and then you have to wait for somebody, and then you have to basically sort of answer more questions, and then another thing happened, and I had to like actually sort of do. I mean, I think like obviously when we weren't in a lockdown situation or in the situation we're in currently, it would have been a face-to-face thing traveling somewhere, but because of the situation we had to do like video stuff, um, and that happened last week, and I haven't got anything through yet obviously because it probably takes a while. I don't even know if that's the whole process done yet, which would seem odd to me because like, literally if it is basically that is the whole process, it's literally been done in like under a year now. From like videos I've watched and what people have said, apparently usually this sort of thing can take multiple years, let alone like not even a year. So that I find that a bit strange. But maybe they just haven't. I suppose there is periods of time where they don't have as many people sort of getting processed or tested or whatever. So basically, I mean, as I said, I haven't got anything through yet. But from the interview, or I don't know what you would call it, from the call that I did last week, I don't know if they're a therapist or a psychiatrist, or I think they're probably maybe a psychiatrist or whatever. But the psychiatrist said that it is that I probably do have autism. Um, I'm not sure what specifically, um, but they did say very likely that I have autism. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to feel about it because because I've been a very socially awkward person. That, to put it mildly, I don't know if it's just me coming across as socially awkward, or if it actually is autism, or if it's both. Um, and when they sort of told me, I honestly felt like I didn't know what to say. Like, and it's not often that I end up in a situation where I genuinely don't know what to say. But after they said that to me, I genuinely didn't know what to say because I sort of part of me was hoping that I wasn't, because at least then maybe I have a chance at, like, I mean, you can improve. You don't, it's not like if you have it right, that's it. I mean, yeah, you can't cure it, but it's not like you can't improve. But sort of being told that sort of really did make me go. I didn't know what to say because, as I said, I was sort of hoping that I wasn't gonna maybe be diagnosed with it. Um, and I said, the thing that worries me is that am I faking it? And they did say that that is like a normal thing that people do think. They think that they think that they're faking it, and that's been a huge worry of mine, that I'm not actually like it. I'm just faking it. For I don't know why I would. Um, but that's been a worry of mine. But now actually sort of being told that I might have it, I feel like I understand sort of why I am like I am when it comes to certain things. Um, and it doesn't help with the depression and the OCD and the anxiety as well on top of all of that, because it's all just sort of sitting there, and like you can't, like, you know you can't cure autism. Is a lifelong thing. You can't cure autism. OCD is basically a lifelong thing. You can't really cure it. Anxiety is one of those things that does come and go, but everyone's going to have periods of being anxious. But it goes back to the OCD and the autism and stuff. Certain situations and things make you anxious when you have those things. So you are basically, depending on the situations you're in, you can basically just be feeling anxious all the time. Same with the depression. Depression, it's not one of those things. Not really. I mean, obviously, I don't. I'm not a mental health expert, so I might not be right. But depression isn't one of those things where it's off one day, on the next day, off one day, on the next day. That's not really how it works. It's just I feel like this all the time. Really, I don't really have good days. Not anymore. Anyway, I don't know if I really had any good days to begin with, to be honest with you. But these days I feel very. I don't get. I don't like get massively down really, but I never like have a good day either. It's just, sort of, you're just on the line. Um, and that doesn't help with that makes you anxious and stuff, and you feel bad about it. I spend a lot of my day just sleeping, because honestly, when I'm asleep, at least I don't feel bad. I don't feel good. I just don't feel anything, because you're not conscious. Um, but yeah, anyway, getting back to the sort of, so yeah, I possibly, obviously, I've got to wait for the paperwork to come through, but I'm probably autistic, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not. It's not something that I'm like massively shocked about, because I have always acted sort of different to most people that I know. And a lot of times it can either get um, what's the word? It can get mistaken for just being a bit odd and quirky and weird. Um, but that's seemingly not the case with me anyway. Now I'm scared that it is going to be a situation where it like really sort of, because I'm really finding it difficult enough as it is to like socially interact. I said in my last video, like just going out today and talking to some people has made me really exhausted. Like barely have barely have any energy left. So I'm worried that it's going to be like that all the time, and I'm just not really going to be able to socialise because I sort of I don't I have days where I really don't want to talk to people, but people have said to me that's yeah okay everyone's like that. But here's the problem, right? And I agree with them on this. It's okay to have the days where you don't want to talk to anyone, but here's the problem. On the days that you do, you might want to sort of talk to somebody. There's no one there because you didn't want to talk to anybody, and I'm worried that I'm going to be like that's never going to change because I really do not want to be that person because you do hear about them online. I do not want to be that 40, 50-year-old who's literally, I really don't, hopefully this doesn't sound bad, but they've not done anything with their life ever. They've literally spent the last 40 and 50 years just, well, I don't know because I don't know what, if I had to sum up what I did, nothing. So if I think it's quite sad if there really are people out there that have literally spent 40, 50 years not doing anything at all. That's, to me, that's very sad, and I really am worried that I'm going to end up like that, and I really don't want to because that would just be that's just a horrible existence from my point of view. Um, it's a very lonely thing as well, I imagine, because it's just not, just doesn't, doesn't seem good to me, and that's not something that's not how I would want to end up. But at the same time, I'm well aware, realistically, to not end up like that, you have to make changes because things don't change unless you actually have, I suppose, make the changes, because otherwise, your life can't really just magically fix itself if you don't do anything. At least I don't think it's possible anyway. Um, and that's something that I'm really afraid of. Like, everyone, fears and all that about, everyone's got fears of some things, but my fear is that the life that I am currently, how I am currently, is never going to change whatsoever. Um, but there you go. That's basically it. So it's quite possible that I'm autistic on top of being depressed, you know, being anxious quite a lot of the time, and having OCD. And the OCD thing, I mean, obviously, as I said, I'm not a mental health expert, but I have a feeling that the OCD and the autism is definitely a big contributor of the anxiety and the depression. Like I obsess over certain things. I mean, I think I said this in a video I did in like a week or two ago. I'll obsess over something, and once I've started obsessing over that one thing, it is permanently stuck in my head, and it won't go away. It won't go away no matter how many days pass, no matter how much I try and think of other things, it's in my head, and then it just it just randomly come back in my head, and then it starts the anxiety again, and it makes me feel bad, and that's for, and it's not like, oh, it's just for one thing. No, it's like I'm constantly finding more things to not to sort of not be happy about. I'm finding faults with things all the time, and they keep building up. Um, and that is, it's basically what people's, it's called perfectionism. Um, and that is something to do with autism as well, apparently. So it might, it, although it probably is the OCD, I reckon, instead of the autism, or it could be both things. But that is like, it's horrible. It's just horrible, like not being able to. It's horrible. It's like you're constantly finding new things to upset you, and you can't, you can't realistically, you can't solve all the things that are upsetting you. So it's just constantly in your head, like, you're going to bed, and you think about it, and then it's there again and again and again. It's, it does, it drives me to the, well, I don't know, it just drives me nuts sometimes. It really upsets me anyway. Um, I think that's I think that's all for this video. Really, I'm sort of tired of talking now. Really. Um, yeah, that's about it for this video. I don't really know what the purpose of this video was, to be honest with you. I mean, um, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so it is kind of likely that I'm autistic, or I have autism. So I guess it's something that I'm gonna have to, well, I don't know, work on, I suppose. I mean, at least now that I know, at least now that I sort of know this, another part of myself. It's sort of like finding it's basically like finding. It's like you find out something about yourself that you didn't really know. So now, instead of like, because it's not, it's for people that have never really felt like it, it's probably quite difficult to understand. But it's like, people say the only person that you truly know is yourself, and for a lot of people they do. But for me, it's not been like that. I don't know all about myself. Like, that's what it's. I don't. I'm sort of. I've found out something about myself, and now I'm gonna have to learn about this whole different part of me, or something that, or a part of myself that I didn't know was really there. So, although I'm not going to be a different person, I'm still the person that I am. Now I have to sort of try and make myself realise why I am like I am, instead of just being like I am and not necessarily understanding why I'm like I am. So, hopefully it's something that I can get a grasp of, and hopefully I can understand it a bit more. Because, as I said in my previous video, at the moment I feel pretty lost, and I don't, I have days where I feel a little bit better than usual, but you know, it's not really saying a lot, to be honest. It's just maybe that, one of the days that's a bit better is one of the days where I'm maybe not sort of finding more things to upset me, and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, I know this was a really long-winded video. Most people probably don't watch the end of these videos, and that's okay. I mean, I can't say I blame you, really. It's not particularly interested in just listening to somebody talk about themselves rambling. But people that do actually watch all the way through, I really appreciate, that you take the time to do that. As I said, I'm going to do more videos like this for me. Hopefully, it makes me feel a little bit better, and maybe I'll be able to understand myself a bit more. Actually, if I actually listen back to the videos, maybe that might help, or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, I know I'm just a last thing that people might come across this video. I don't want to. Hopefully, I haven't come across as like being really negative for against people that have autism and stuff like that. Because obviously I might have autism myself, or it's very likely that I do. So I really don't want to come across as one of those people that's like, oh well, this is a really terrible thing, like that. Because hopefully I don't come across like that. But it is we all deal with things differently. Some people have it as a really positive thing, and some people have it as a not so positive thing, and I don't know where I really am at the moment. I do know that I have difficulties with certain things at the moment, and it might or might not be because of that. It's tough. It's difficult to know, really. It's like, it could be that, it could be that, or it could be that. It could be both. It could be neither. You don't know. You have to that's something that I want to figure out for myself. So yeah, hopefully I didn't come across too negative to people. I really am I try to be open-minded, and I try to be kind and sort of accepting as a person, because I don't, over the, with how I've been struggling recently, it does make me feel a lot more, what's the word? It makes me feel, I just want to be I want to be as good a person as I can be, because at the moment that's all I feel that I can really do. I just want to be, I just want to be a good person at the end of the day. Try and be as kind as I can be, and because I think everyone should try and be as kind, and yeah, I think everyone, I think everyone should be as kind as they can be, because it can be very difficult out there. So if everyone just tries to be as nice as possible, then it makes it easier for everyone, doesn't it? So if I can't be happy, and I can't contribute to society, at least if I'm a nice person, I can sort of look at myself in the mirror and feel a little bit better about myself, and feel that maybe I'm not letting everyone down. So yeah. Anyway, guys, as I said, thank you for watching. If you've actually watched all the way to the end, yeah. So, thanks very much, guys.